up, Bloody Nerdigans? This is the one and only Pecker Girl 89, and I'm going to give you basically a wrap-up of my Mythology Readathon, because this is I'm taking a break, basically, from mythology-based fiction, and in the next video, I will basically tell you what my next readathon is going to be, because it will be the next readathon is going to be uber intense, and I will give you all the details in the next video. So, I'm going to basically talk about, what my favorite mythology books were, like what my favorite mixed mythology books were, what my favorite single-based mythology, single-focused, what my favorite endings were, what my favorite my book boyfriends are from the mythology-based, and who would you want to have as your best friend, that kind of stuff. So let's get to it. So for the single-based mythology, you got your Egyptian, you got your Greek, you got your and you got your Irish to an extent with Wonder is Strange, but I gotta give it to Starcross though, because Starcross gave you something unique to the Greek perspective, because usually it's just a flat out, the typical Greeks. But with Starcross, I should actually mention the Gods and Monsters series too. But Starcross, it gave you by Josephine Angelini, gave you the Trojan, descendants of the Trojans, and with the different and I like the different houses and everything like that. And I actually really like the powers too, and I liked how Aphrodite was, more close with Helen of Troy, and I really liked how that, they were described as their, obviously they're descendants, basically, and reincarnations. I liked it. I really liked it, and I liked the fates and how they played a role, and I liked how we were more sympathetic with Hades. I just love this book all around, the series all around. And Josephine Angelini, I mentioned it before, said she is working on a 4th book, but I kind of hope she does a trilogy, because Goddess totally screamed the way Goddess ended. It screams trilogy. So please give us a trilogy, Josephine. Please, please, please. Okay, the next one I want to talk about for the single-based, this is mixed, Gods and Monsters is more mixed mythology, now that I'm thinking about it, because you have a little bit of Egyptian. So for the mixed mythology, it's kind of a toss-up between more between Wildfire and the Starling trilogy. The Wildfire trilogy by Karsten Knight and the Starling trilogy by Leslie Livingston, which, please, Karsten and Leslie, work on the Saga trilogy together. Please, I would love that. That would be the best thing ever. Because the thing is with Wildfire is that it's different, because you have the gods as actual people. They're not like separate immortal beings. They're just reincarnated into different humans, and I really liked that aspect, and I liked how you had these separate creatures in a different dimension that determined if or Jack, basically, if you were living out in a terrible lifetime and not using your powers for good, basically, that you would be part of the Tree of Life. I thought that was interesting. And plus, I love the sarcasm. I love the dialogue in the Wildfire series. It was good. And then you have the Starling trilogy. Oh my god, the Starling trilogy was fantastic. Plus, I learned things about Orpheus, that he died in an orgy. I love the wit. I love Rafi as Anubis. I like learning about semigods, which I kind of wish more authors would actually use semigod instead of demigod. I think semigod is actually more accurate. And I love the wit. I loved how Leslie tied it in with, as I mentioned, I loved how she tied it in with the Wonder is Strange trilogy. I just loved the series, period. The character development was fantastic, and I love my Fenris Wolf. I do. I love Fenris Wolf. But Fenris Wolf might end up dropping to number 2 on the Book Nerdigan boyfriend list because of another character in a series that I'm reading right now. I'm rereading right now. But anyway, let me get to Gods and Monsters for the mixed mythology. The thing I like about Gods and Monsters, up until Heart of Stone, oh my god, Heart of Stone. Heart of Stone kind of frustrated me, but as you could tell from the Book Nerdigan video I did just earlier. The thing is with Heart of Stone, or not Heart of Stone, with Gods and Monsters, is that it's from a Gorgon's point of view. Or a descendant of a Gorgon, and plus, you know, it's different, and Athena's gone psycho, and I like that, and I like when we see, because up until this point in the mythology-based fiction, Athena's pretty chill. Even in the Starcross series, Athena was pretty chill. So, and another thing I want to bring up is that even in something that Leslie Livingston does that I really like as well, something that Josephine Angelini did, is that she has sympathy for gods and mythological beings that are usually portrayed as assholes, and has like a reversal role. So like leprechauns, you know, leprechauns are perceived as cute. No, leprechauns are assholes. And then the other thing is that I wanted to mention about Leslie Livingston before I move on, is that when I was speaking to her on Twitter, she did say that she is working on a new series, and I will keep you Book Nerdigans posted. I can't wait for her new series. Oh, I love it. Leslie Livingston's writing. I do. So the next thing I want to talk about is, you know what, fuck it. I'll talk about my perfect Book Nerdigan boyfriends. My perfect boyfriends. So number 1, obviously, on my list, there's going to be mainly 3, because I don't want to include Percy, because Percy's too young for me. Number 1 is obviously Fenris Wolf. Fenris Wolf is hot, and he appears, the first appearance in the Starling trilogy, he's fucking naked. He's gorgeous, and he always ends up without a shirt on. And Mason's not complaining, I'm not complaining, Leslie's not complaining. And I think she did that on purpose. The other thing is Fenris is funny as shit, he's loyal, and I mean, he is just so romantic. Fenris is one of the most romantic characters ever. I swear to Kami and Arceus, he's one of the most romantic characters ever. The next one I would probably put, I would probably say, it was a toss-up between Wes and Lucas. And I was originally going to put Lucas, but I gotta say Wes more than Lucas. Because the thing is with Wes, actually, you know what? I gotta put Lucas, because even though Lucas couldn't be with Helen, because they thought they were first cousins, he was still watching out for her and everything. Wes fucking abandoned Ash for a while, and I understood, because, you know, he lost his best friend. But, plus Lucas, I love that Lucas could fly, and I'm a sucker for blue eyes. I don't know why, I just love blue eyes. But, if Wes didn't abandon Ash, then I would rank Wes higher than Lucas. And Sebastian, and for those Book Nerdigans who know, I don't like Sebastian. I'm sorry, Kelly, I don't like Sebastian. I liked him in A Beautiful Evil, like near the end when he was fucking badass. He has some moments where he's badass, but Heart of Stone made me really hate Sebastian. Okay, let me get to my favorite female characters. I definitely love Ari. Yeah, I love Ari. I love, what's her name? I love Ash. I love Mason. I love Menai, and I love Valno. They kick ass. They are my favorite characters of all the books that I've read. And to an extent, I like Helen too. Like, Helen was kind of meh, But, I mean, she kicked a lot of ass, too. I mean, she had some things to say, that's for sure. But, man, Ari and Ash, they had mouths on them. And same with Heather. Heather had a mouth on her, too. And what was the other thing I wanted to mention on here? Oh, endings. So, I'm not going to include books like the Percy Jackson series and Kane Chronicles on here, and Blood of Olympus and shit like that, Heroes of Olympus, because to me they are kind of continuing with the Percy Jackson and Kane Chronicles crossover, which you need to keep working on with Gordon because they are not finished. And I can't include Starcross because Josephine Angeli said she's going to continue the series. I can't include Gods and Monsters because, of course, Kelly Keaton, you gotta continue that series too. So it's really between the Starling trilogy and by Leslie Livingston and the Wildfire trilogy by Karsten Knight. I gotta say, with the Wildfire trilogy, I loved how it ended, and I'm still waiting for the Saga series, which could be separate. I just liked how it ended, that it was later in the future, and that, you know, Ash wrote the actual series, and her descendant found Wes, and they got married, or Wes's descendant, they got married, they trapped Colt with the trilogy of Wildfire books, and he was reading it. I thought that was such a good ending. I was kind of crying when she found Wes. I was just like, oh my god, that was so sweet. And then for the Starling trilogy, I was freaking out. I got almost pissed because I was like, no, this can't end this way. This can't end where Fenris is hurt. No, Fenris cannot die. No. And I'm glad that I was so happy that Cal and Heather were working things out, and Mason was doing well in fencing competition, and then we saw the rock being thrown at the window, and I was like, oh, it's Fenris! Oh my god, me and Arceus, it's Fenris! I was so happy, and then Fenris was down there in the car, and he basically was like, take us to the happy place, and I was just like, I love Fenris. That like gave me goosebumps, and when I first read the ending, like, I was crying. I literally was crying. It was, oh my god, that was such a good ending. And it was like the perfect way to end that series. So it's really hard for me to choose between those two, to be honest, because Colt, the ending for Wildfire, the Wildfire trilogy was like, fuck yes, Colt got what he deserved. They found Wes and Ash found each other again. This was sad. It was satisfying. I was satisfied with how it ended. But I still need Saga. I still need Saga. And when, the thing is when with how Transcendent ended, I was like, I'm fucking happy. I'm satisfied. I don't need any more. This can end right here, and I'm happy. So, that's probably why I'm going to give it to the Starling trilogy. It ended perfectly. It ended so perfectly. I was happy. Yeah. The next thing I'm probably gonna cover, because I am doing this on the fly, so if I'm thinking, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking, let's see, what else do I want to talk about for the Gods wise? Is there anything else I really want to bring up? I brought up ending, I'm just trying to think. I brought up ending. I brought up female characters. I brought up... Oh! Who do you want to be your best friend? It's easy. I want Maddox to be my best friend. Maddox from the Wonder Strange trilogy and the Starling trilogy. Maddox and Rafi I want to be my best friends. Maddox is fucking hilarious and Rafi is a badass. Well, maybe Toby too, because Toby is pretty handy in a situation. But damn, I love them. They are awesome characters too. They kick so much ass. The thing is that I was really sad with a lot of the characters that died in the Wildfire series, like Raja and Rolf, and I wish Rolf didn't die. That really sucked when Rolf died. That was an unfortunate death. Yes, it was. Who do I think had the best... I'm trying to think who had the best villain in all reality. I'm just trying to think which gods were like the best villain. Because you had Zeus as a villain in all reality. Zeus was like the biggest villain. Or like, actually I should think about it like this. Who portrayed the gods the best? And I really want to say that Starcrossed did. And I really want to say either Starcrossed or, who is it? Starcrossed or Starling did. Greek definitely Starcrossed. Because the thing is with the Percy Jackson series, is they made the gods seem like so friendly and shit. But man, Starcrossed, when we got to a little later in and we saw like Apollo was trying to rape the gods and rape people and shit, and more gods were kidnapping women, I was like, that's what the gods did. And same with Athena and to an extent, same with Athena in the Gods and Monsters series. So I like when authors definitely do that. So that's all I gotta really say about the mythology readathon for my Book Nerdigan wrap-up. So my next video is going to explain my next major readathon, which is going to be a lot more intense, because this was my first readathon, so like I was just experimenting with it. But man, my next readathon is going to be awesome. So, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I want to know what you guys thought. What was your favorite mythology-based fiction that you guys read in my Book Nerdigan readathon? Or, actually, if you have a mythology-based fiction book that you want me to read, please leave it in the comments too. I will at some point when I get back to reading mythology-based fiction. I'm just taking a break right now. I will be definitely reading Meg Cabot's Abandoned series. I will definitely do that, and I will definitely be reading, because there's a little bit of Norse in it, I will be reading Carrie Jones' Need series as well. I love that series too. That's one of my favorites. There was something else I wanted to say too. But so you guys know, I do the other books I did read that weren't mythology based. A lot of it had to do with my Book Nerdigan. The rich thing is that I have to read the same book. If it's written by the same author, I have to read it. Otherwise, it just will drive me nuts. Especially like when it just came out. So that's why you saw Alexandra Bracken's books on my Book Nerdigan channel, because I was dying to read In the Afterlight and Brightly Woven. So I will see you Book Nerdigans in the next video. Just remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye.